Let's take a 1-year starting point as an example. Over the course of a year, this is the general stock market. You can see anywhere from 10, 15, 20, even 30% gains in an individual year. That means that if we were to buy $100 worth of SPX at this point and price increases, we now have $130. And technically our total risk implication is if everything were to melt down and technically go to zero, we're technically risking $100. This is the concept of investing. Now you're only going to get, say, 10, 20, 30% in a good year, but usually right around 10%. So effectively, we'd have to wait an entire year to get between 10 and 30%, which is good if you're dealing with a lot of money. But if you're trying to scale a small amount and make an income off of it, you need to have a tremendous amount of capital. Otherwise, you have to find other opportunities in the market. Now, what happens if we zoom into just this one small area, where now instead of looking at an entire year's worth of movement, we're now looking at individual days worth of movement. So we'll take today, for example. And now even in a single day, we had this amount of movement to the upside and this amount of movement on the downside. So instead of waiting an entire year, if we were able to enter here and sell somewhere up here and now still risking $100, just with this single move, we would make $341. This would happen in the matter of 1 hour. We can have multiple of these opportunities in a single day, which allows us to go from making, say, $30 in a year to be able to take that same amount of risk and be able to make $600, $700, $800 in a single day, risking $100. Okay, but as the numbers get smaller and we're dealing on a zoomed in 1-day view, the math and the strategy behind this starts to get a lot more complicated, and it gets more important to know how to do this to properly calculate your risk. Not only that, but we need to know where we're buying and selling and the likelihood of that happening. So just as an example, if you're new, you're especially not going to understand exactly how this works, but this is a trade that took about 2 hours where I was basically able to pick an area where I expected for the price to significantly drop, enter in, actually be able to make profit from the market going down, which even a lot of people don't understand that you can do, especially good when markets are moving down to know how to do this skill. You can see I followed this down for hours, going up $2,400, $2,600, $3,000, nearly $4,000 before taking the trade off for full profit. And I was only risking $500 that I was able to make over $3,000 in about 2 hours. Okay, this isn't to brag, it's just to show you that if we can use this ideology and framework on a daily basis, these are the opportunities that if you lock in and take it seriously, that are going to be on the table for yourself.